And then matcha left, and that meant we went down to 33% sugar babe content, which, you know, is still sugar baby, but, you know, not the most sugar babe it could be.
Reality is a construct of perception. Carl is a construct of coffee and bad life choices. Here they meet in Carl versus Reality.
Hello and thank you for joining me for this episode of Carl versus Reality. How's it going? Don't worry, this week I actually have got the right microphone recording. Last week was a bit of a mess up, which is fine. It's just warts and all kind of podcasting way that I do things. Thank you for the people who got in contact about that. But yeah, it's been a bit of a weird week actually, really. I had a weird conversation with someone, and yeah, so basically what it was, I was talking to this guy, and he was saying about how short he was, which is fine. And I'm looking at him thinking he's about my height. I went, how tall are you? And he goes, oh, I'm 5'11". I went, no, you're not, mate. I'm 6'1". So, you know, you've got to be at least 6 foot, 6'1". And he's like, yeah, in your dreams. I'm like, what? I'm definitely 6'1". I've been 6'1" for years. Well, you know, I said, well, when was the last time you actually measured yourself? Maybe you've grown since then. And he's like, oh, it's a couple of years ago. I'm looking at him. I'm thinking, I'm sure I'm 6'1". I'm not 100% sure I'm 6'1". Why am I being questioned on that? So I thought that's a bit strange, isn't it? So I relayed this story to my dad, and you know, I sound like you won't believe what happened this week. This guy said this, and he's like, well, people do shrink. I'm like, what? What's going on? Why? Even my dad is now saying I'm not 6'1". What's going on? So I'm at their house, my mum's and dad's house. And I remember years ago, obviously when my nieces and nephew were born, they started doing the whole, like, measure them against the door frame, just sort of see the height difference and all that kind of stuff. And there was my mark, 6'1". And so I'm like, okay, let me measure myself up against it. So I measured myself up against it. If anything, I've gotten a little bit taller since that mark was made. So I was like, okay. So my dad goes to get his tape measure. We measure it. Oh, look at that. Over 6'1". And I'm thinking, I was getting gaslit about my own height. Like, something I know that is actually genuinely true made me question myself if I actually have shrank and I'm not 6'1" anymore. Honestly, I just what was going on with that? I was like, what is this? What kind of people go around telling people that, you know, the sky is green? But, yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, that. I don't know, I thought I'd relay that story to you, because that's something that happened. So, you know, going about, just to get on with the main portion of the show, I was just looking at the weird stuff that goes on the internet and just the news and all that. Did you know, now, that penguin bars are now not classed as chocolate? Which is kind of a strange one, when you think about it. It's like a chocolate bar. It's no longer chocolate. Same with club bars. You know, those the chocolate, like a biscuit with lots of chocolate. If you like a lot of chocolate on our biscuit, join our club. Those people, that's not chocolate anymore. Technically, it's now legally defined as chocolate-flavored coating, because the cocoa, like, percentage of the actual cocoa is actually now so low and sort of padded out with other things. It's not technically chocolate anymore. Which is, it's just a thing, really. People are getting annoyed about it, and I'm all like, yeah, does it still taste alright? Yeah, then don't worry about it, kind of thing, you know. So the reasons why they've actually reduced the amount of chocolate in these things is because chocolate is actually getting really expensive. Now, like a decade or so ago, I remember them like warning, watch out, there might be chocolate shortages on the horizon, and lo and behold, here we are. It's for a few reasons mainly. There's, you know, it's more of a case of there's bad harvests, disease, like the weather in Ghana and the Ivory Coast and all that. So the supply is actually like proper crashed. So in January this year, it was £8,200 to actually buy cocoa. I've got some research here, but I've not written down the actual. I'm assuming it's a ton. And like this, and now it's gone down to nearly $5,000 a ton for these cocoa beans or whatever, which is double what it was in 2022. So, it's gone up significantly over the years. So it's actually now real expensive to actually get chocolate, proper chocolate. And it's a shame that, because I do love a chocolate bar. Although, having said that, I do actually like penguins. I still like penguins. In fact, I've been eating penguins recently in my packed lunchbox. I'm like, actually, these are all right. These actually taste really good. It's just synthesized chocolate flavouring, But the thing is, this isn't the only time this has happened. Don't know if you know this or not. Wagon wheels have had chocolate flavour coating on for a while. And I didn't know this one. Viscounts. Again, not really something you sort of notice too much, but, it's not just the chocolate world that is by these constraints, really, because also another sort of semi-famous example of things saying what it is and it isn't, cheese slices. There's little bits of there's cheese you put on your burgers. I think in America they're just called American cheese. There's actually less than 50% cheese in them things, and they are never called like cheese. They're called singles and all that kind of thing, really. Because you can't call cheddar unless it's got a certain amount of like fat or curds, or I don't know what it is. I'm not a cheese expert. If you want cheese information, go see Alex James from Blur. Yeah. And obviously, lastly, the sugar babes. The sugar babes, started out with 3 members. There was Matcha, Kesha, and Siobhan, and one of them left. Siobhan left. Heidi came along, and we were down to 66% sugar babe content, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. And, had some of the biggest hits when they were at 66% power. And then Matcha left and was replaced with Amel, and that meant we went down to 33% sugar babe content, which, it's still sugar baby, but, not the most sugar babe it could be. And then after Kesha left, there was no percent sugar babe. And that's obviously when they started calling themselves sugar babe flavour coated sugar babes, which is, it just goes across the entire, level of things in the universe. Really, this can happen to. Ironically, though, when Matcha, Kesha, and Siobhan got back together, they couldn't call themselves sugar babes because of a trademark issue, which is funny to think that there was lots of sugar babes going about. It's kind of like when The Undertaker, there was 2 Undertakers, and they had obviously like a sugar babe versus sugar babe flavour coated sugar babes, and they went head to head, and the sugar babes came out on top. But yeah, it's definitely, people are getting annoyed about the whole wagon wheel sugar coated or chocolate flavour coating penguins and all that kind of thing. That ultimately, and this is important, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You either eat it or you don't. It's as simple as that. You don't have to get annoyed about it. You don't boycott penguins. I'm pretty sure that you boycotting penguins, they won't even notice. I still like the taste of penguins. I don't care. The penguin jokes, though, oh my goodness. I read one, what was it, yesterday? What did the genie give the penguin when he found the lamp or something like that? Or like a magic lamp? 3 fishes. I'm like, what? It doesn't even make sense. What is this? But yeah, like I say, it doesn't really matter. People like to get angry about all kinds of stuff. Just the internet is just a pit of just anger. Like, you go onto Reddit. I try to avoid Reddit best I can, but sometimes when I'm researching the show, I do end up sort of dipping my toe in there. I'm like, geez, what's going on in there? It's not good. But anyway, thank you for joining me for this episode of Carl vs. Reality. I do appreciate it. I'm currently working on the website. I haven't finished it yet, but it's in progress. Just go to carlversusreality.com. And there will be some stuff on there. You can also email me, show@carlversusreality.com. The information eventually will be on the website when I can be bothered. But anyway, thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you next time. Take care of yourselves, and ta-ta.